أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم كل وليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا. اللهم اجعلنا من أعوانه وأنصاره. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجه. So this is, Alhamdulillah, our 8th session for this discussion circle about Imam Mahdi alayhi salam. We are reviewing the book of Mikyal. So far we have covered chapter, I think, 1, 2, 5, 6, 7. And now we are going to chapter 4, which we started last week. Because we have some new faces, I will quickly overview, not like detail, but the book of Mikyal is about the merits, virtues, and benefits, and the obligation about praying for Imam Mahdi alayhi salam. And under that topic, the author, which we talked about him and his work in the first session, he goes to some good details about knowing the Imam alayhi salam, some of the other broader discussions related to Imam Mahdi alayhi salam, and that's a good thing about this book. So we will get other knowledge and information. And I think more importantly, as I repeatedly emphasized on, it will have, inshallah, actionable points, which inshallah we can apply in our life one step forward, inshallah, and see the benefits of that as well. Not just, this is not educational sessions just to learn and add to our knowledge list. Rather, inshallah, be practical and get some actions from these discussions. So with that, we go to the chapter 4, which Sahib Mikyal, Ayatollah Isfahani, he argues what are the qualities and special merits that Imam Mahdi alayhi salam has, which because of those, it becomes incumbent on us to pray for him. So which is an interesting angle to look at. And then in the main book, the Mikyal, which by the way, I brought 2 English hard copies in case anyone, because I knew there will be some new faces wanted. So in the book, it goes over about 120 plus qualities, but obviously we don't have time to go to detail. So we will, inshallah, in summary, move. And then he did something cute. Basically, he organized these alphabetically, those characteristics. But of course, when we translate them in English, it will not make so much sense. So they are now categorized based on like the topic. So there will be 5 topics, which I talked about them high level, what they mean last week. So I don't want to repeat those. Whatever these texts tell you, so we stick with that. Any comment, any questions so far before we continue? And Faisal, please check the chat. Today especially, I can't focus on that. We're good? All right, so we'll start with the what we call it existential effects and benefits of Imam alayhi salam, which again, remember, the whole idea of this chapter is those qualities that make it necessary for us, incumbent on us, to pray for him. Okay, so the first point under this topic is the fact that the life and the sustenance, hayah and rizq, is basically running on his hand, in nutshell. So we have this phrase in Dua Adila which says بِيُمْنِهِ رُزِقَ الْوَرَى وَبِوُجُودِهِ ثَبَتَتِ الْأَرْضُ وَالسَّمَاء. For his honor, people receive sustenance, and for his existence, heavens and earth are stable. We may, like, honestly, this is a big thing, heavy concept to accept, to digest, to be okay with. Wow, is that the case? I wanted to use this opportunity to talk a little bit about this. Why? Like, what is the logic? What is the wisdom? Why is that the case? In these lines, you have heard a lot of different narrations. I don't know, maybe you have thought about it, pondered upon, like, for example, have you heard the hadith laulak, the hadith that is famous by the phrase laulak? What is it? Faisal, can you explain?
So it wasn't for you, O Prophet, I would not have created these earth.
Yeah. If it was not because of you, I had not created heavens and earth. لولاك لما خلقت الأفلاك. It has another, continuation, which I skip for now. So what does that mean? That if it was not for Prophet and for the Ahlul Bayt, I would have not created the creation, basically. How, as you can see, they are related, right? So for that, if to better understand that, we need to salam alaikum, to go help yourself, to go to some details about the purpose of creation, the objectives of khilqah. That's, as you can guess, it's a very broad topic. Again, of course, we don't have time to go to too much details, but I wanted to just talk a little bit about it and then move on. So these two verses of Quran, the first one is more famous, the second one also. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about the purpose of creation. Again, when we say purpose, it's not the benefit that I as creator will get from this. Rather, what is the goal that I'm looking for these creatures to achieve? Not for me, because Allah will not change, will not benefit from the creation. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وما خلقت الجن والإنس إلا ليعبدون. We all have heard that, but we want to have, inshallah, deeper understanding. And in that context and concept, we have the mercy. إلا من رحم ربك ولذلك خلقهم. For his mercy, he created them. If you were not created, if we have not been created, we couldn't receive the mercy of Allah. I know, again, these might be a little complicated, but that's fine. I just leave the point so you can think more about it. If we were not created, if we were not something, we were not able to receive the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We were not able to get to know Allah, which is one of the meanings of the liya'budun, as Imam Hussein alayhi salam explained. We'll see it in the next slide. So Allah created us. That creation itself is mercy, because now we were nothing. We were not even mentionable. لم يكن شيئا مذكورا. But after that, Allah continued bestowing his mercy upon us, which in a beautiful hadith from Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, he narrates that one day Imam Hussein alayhi salam خرج على أصحابه. So he went to his companions, talking to them. Imam explains, actually, any volunteers to read the English? I put the Arabic on the bottom. Anyone? Yes, always. Great. Yosahan, thank you so much.
It's narrated from
very loud. Let me check the group. We have friends from Iraq, from Canada, so your voice should reach all around the world.
It's narrated from Sadiq, peace be upon him, that said, one day, Imam Hussein went out talking to his companions and said, O people, the Almighty Allah didn't create creatures but to know him when they are cognizant. They'll worship him. When they worship him, it suffices them from worshiping others. Then someone asked him, O son of Rasulullah, what is cognizance of Allah? He responded, cognizance of people of each era about their Imam, that his obedience is mandated for them.
Wow, it's too heavy, and inshallah again, I want to spend some time on this. This hadith is very interesting and very broad. So Allah has not created us but to get to know him. That's the value of our life. If we don't know, which that knowing and having the cognizance, which is a translation of ma'rifah, will lead to connection, will lead to worship, will lead to dua, will lead to loving Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah would have not created us. Because فَإِذَا عَبَدُوهُ اسْتَغْنَوْا بِعِبَادَتِهِ عَنْ عِبَادَةِ مَنْ سِوَاهُ. When they have that ma'rifah, they will worship him, and that worshiping will suffice them from worshiping others, relying on others, thinking that, oh, other people are the ones who take care of me, or they can harm me, or they can benefit me and all. Okay, so this itself needs some more discussion, but Imam continues after the question by the companion, what is the ma'rifat of Allah? Imam says, the ma'rifah of people, of their Imam, of their time. So anyone, before I get to this, we want to have also some discussions. What are your thoughts? I think you have heard this hadith before. How do you comprehend, how do you reflect on, how do you understand this hadith? That, first of all, the first part, the ayah of Quran, that I have not created you but to worship, it starts from ma'rifah, because if you don't have ma'rifah and cognizance of something, you don't get to know them, and your worship will be just useless or without any value. That part, and the explanation that Imam has about the ma'rifatullah, which is the ma'rifat of ma'rifatu ahli kulli zamanin imamahum. I mean, feel free. I just want to hear, how do you understand, relate, explain, comprehend all those words? Yes.
I think this relates to the family of a hadith that talk about how the Imam of the time is Wajhullah, Ainullah, Hidullah, and he's like the executor of the will of Allah. So this naturally falls in line that if you want to know Allah, like the best of gnosis, you would go to the person who executes the will of Allah, which is the Imam.
Okay, interesting. What else? Uravaz at the same time. Ladies, anything? Any thought? Oh, by the way, I remembered something from last week I have to mention, a missed comment. But beside that, Sister Shabana, yeah, you want to talk or type?
Yes,
Go ahead.
yes. I mean, this is what I understand. Like, you can, we all have the fitrah, we all know Allah, but to have the right recognition of Allah is only the representatives of Allah can guide us, like about Him, because everybody knows Allah, but they perceive Him in a different way. Some say, like, he has a hand, we'll be seeing Allah, and these are the wrong ways of recognizing Allah. Only the Hujjat of Allah can tell us about Allah, and also how we can worship Him, the way He wants us to worship Him, and the way it would please Him. So that would serve the purpose of creation, to serve Allah by having His recognition, and by the way He wants us to worship Him. And it's not only worship, it could be more than that, ubudiyah, like to worship Him in all your activities, daily activities. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, that's great. So these are good points. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. On top of those, there's another angle I want to open your eyes to just think about it. What is one of the best ways of knowing a great poet? Exactly, right? We have great poets in the room. So when we want to know them, what is the best way to just read their biology or just biography? Or read the poetries that they wrote. The same thing for the artists that they, for example, create the great pieces of art, right? So basically, their art, either in poetry or painting or whatever, will be manifested in those masterpieces. I don't want to say the same, but when we know that the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, they are ayat, they are signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When we get to know the masterpiece, that will increase our knowledge about the Creator. When we get to know Imam Hussein alayhi salam and his life, what he has done, and we know that he is the masterpiece of creation. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wa alihi, Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, they are the masterpieces of the creation. So that will increase our ma'rifah about the Creator. That, wow, see, you see Imam Hussein, you see the life of Prophet, you see how, for example, other Imams and Ahlul Bayt and Prophets, that's why one of their names and one of their titles is what? Asma'ullah, Ayatullah. Amir al-Mu'mineen's title is what? Ayatullah al-Uzma, the greatest sign of Allah. On top of all those Nare Haydari that you say, what is behind that or underlying? That means he that you say, wow, he is one sign of that Creator. I am the one who created Ali. See, this is just one manifestation of my power, my greatness and all. So what you said is correct. I'm not saying that's wrong, but there's another layer on top of that, that knowing that the Imams, alayhimus salam, they are the signs of Allah. They are like masterpieces of the art of the Creator. So with that, back to the first part, that was the second part of the hadith. The first part, the purpose of creation. Now the simple question is, who on earth is fulfilling that objective that Allah had from creation? ما خلقت الجن والإنس إلا ليعبدون. I created mankind, I created the everything for me to be recognized and for me to be worshipped. Again, not that I need that, because rather by that worship, you will be elevated. You will have more ma'rifah. So who is fulfilling that objective of the creation in the best way possible? The Imam and the Prophets and the Hujjaj of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So now it makes sense, if they were not there, the entire existence, the entire creation would be aimless, because there is not even one person can fulfill the entire objective and hadaf and the goal of creation. So that's why we say Imam and Hujjah, while they are on earth is stable, heavens are stable. Otherwise, la sakhat bi ahla, there is no point. See, who? Me? My worship is fulfilling the objective of Allah from creation, or anyone else? Come on. No. So, and it's like, don't get me wrong, but that's reality. When you have a special guest, and then you have a very amazing spread sofra with all great food, and yeah, no insult to cats and dogs, but the cat or the dog or the bug later on will benefit from the sofra and the food and leftovers, not leftover, but anything. But who is the main purpose of the entire party and celebration and festival? That celebrity that you invited. Others will benefit, that's fine, but they didn't have the honor and they didn't have the they were not the reason that the entire party was started. If it was not because of you, Prophet, I would have not created heavens and earth. For who? For me? That I ignore you and I don't care about you once I'm stuck and devastated, I'll come back to you, Allah. For me, you created? No, for who? He is the true worshipper, and yes.
So if Allah created it for, I guess, the Ahlul Bayt, then what was the reason for us? Like, why do we have to benefit from it? Or
Because Allah is merciful. The previous slide that we saw, very great question. So we are nothing. I mean, we are, but إِلَّا مَنْ رَحِمَ رَبُّكَ وَلِذَلِكَ خَلَقَهُ. Because of their honor, others are benefited as well. The sinful are benefited because Allah is merciful. He's not like me again. Oh, you didn't say salam to me for the next couple of years. I will not look at you, talk to you, blah, blah, blah. No, Allah is merciful, is forgiving and all. So, but the main person basically is the Prophet, because he's the top, and others levels by levels, right? Because the continuation of the hadith says وَلَوْلَا عَلِي لَمَا خَلَقْتُكَ وَلَوْلَا فَاطِمَةَ لَمَا خَلَقْتُكُمَا, and I don't want to get to that route, but that's the gist of it. Others, that's why in the dua we say بِيُمْنِهِ رُزِقَ الْوَرَى. That's exactly the meaning, brother. وَبِوُجُودِ, for his honor people receive sustenance. I created everything for the honor of those that they fulfill that objectives in the best possible capacity. Others, that's great. I'm not stingy. I am Rahman and Rahim. So I bestow my mercy upon others. Right? Does that make sense? So with that, any other comment or question? I know we spent some time, but that's, I think, beside the whole Mikyal, we don't want to just check the boxes. We want to benefit and learn. Yes.
My question is about, I guess, the whole first slide, the whole like thesis that we have.
This one?
Yeah. So I guess I can in my head explain بوجوده ثبت الأرض والسماء, but then بيمنه رزق الورى, isn't that in contradiction to the other hadith that, like Imam Mahdi, for example, says, don't attribute to us.
بيمنه.
Okay.
No, this is not the tafwiz that we talked about. This is biyomni. Because of his honor, I am giving sustenance to others. Who is the host? Who is the creator? Who is in charge of everything? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But because of the honor of Muhammad wa ala Muhammad salawatullah alayhi ajma'in, I am giving to others as well. Just think about the analogy that I said about the
Okay.
guest of honor.
Yeah. Because like just reading, maybe there's context also like before and after, but just reading it makes it seem like the Imam has like this independent.
No,
Okay,
biyomnihi is like because of him. Again, I'm in charge,
Okay.
right? I mean, I can give other examples, but yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say like, well, this adds that like, I mean, because like when I first like read it and everything, like it felt like like because of like it's like saying like Ya Ali Rizqni, right? Well, you can't say that because only Allah your Allah. But then then when he said like because of them, for their honor, for their honor, then like it made more sense.
Okay, let me give an example. Faisal is friend, so he will not be insulted. So I'll invite Faisal to my house. I say, oh, by the way, bring Ali, your younger brother. Doesn't mean I don't care about him, but who is the guest of honor? Faisal and of course his wife, right? So I invite them, but I say, by the way, don't forget to bring Ali. So we'll have everything. And at the end, I'll also, that sofra will have barakah to the birds of my house, to the cat of my neighbor, right? And you can, and maybe some, I'll pack nice way for chess. Of course, will not be leftovers. So anyway, does that make sense? So it's not that you are gonna feed, but that's the honor. All right. So let's move on to the next topic, which this one actually might be little to your point that you mentioned. Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam and the Hujjaj of Allah, they are the hands, the face, the eyes of Allah. So that itself again is a broader topic. Yadullahi fawqa aydihim, wajhullah. So it's interesting in Arabic, yad, which means hand, has a beautiful connotation, or I don't know, like meaning. It's not only like hand. It comes with the connotation of the instrument or the means of giving blessings, right? I gave like two examples from the du'as. أنا لا أنسى أياديك عندي. I think it's in Dua Abu Hamza. Oh Allah, I do not forget your hands. Does that make sense? That means the blessings that you started my life with, I do not forget those, that how merciful you were. Ayadik here means your mercies. Al-ayad al-jamila, again, this is a phrase from the du'as. Your beautiful mercies. The word yad, hands, are used for it. So Imam alayhi salam is the one, his hand basically is as we say, I don't know, I don't think that we say it in English, right? But in Arabic and I think in Farsi we say that his hand be on our head, like his support, he's on basically his leadership, his hand be on us. So that's why again we see now it makes sense. We have a narration about the time of Zuhoor, the era of again, I don't like the word reappearance, but anyway, Zuhoor, that when Imam alayhi salam comes, the hadith says he will put his hand on people's head and their aql and intellect will be completed, will be augmented or completed. So again, what is the argument that Sahib Mikyal has? Don't forget the main discussion. He says, remember, our existence is because of his honor. So when I give you a food, you thank me. Guess what? Someone that my entire existence is because of him, because of his honor, how much I should think about him, how much I should pray for him, how much I should think about him, right? So the same thing about his hand basically being on people. So again, there are a lot to discuss, but I have to be quick. We do not have much time, and we have a lot to cover. The other one on their same topic is the I think I skipped one. Yes, preventing harm and alleviating distress, which is another thing beside the fact of existence. Imam alayhi salam, as a kind father, as a kind leader, even though we don't see him, he has not he doesn't forget about us. So in one of his letters, one of the tawqi'at to Sheikh al-Mufid, this is a very famous, heartbreaking word from the Imam, and shows that again, despite of our ignorance, our like carelessness and living our lives, he says, "Inna ghayru muhmilina limura'atikum." We are not negligent of caring about you, right? And we are not forgetful of your remembrance. وَلَا نَاسِينَ لِذِكْرِكُمْ. So that's why he was chosen to be the Imam. See, we don't forget about you, even though you, Imam, was nice, didn't want to insult us, right? Despite of your ignorance and sins and carelessness and all, we don't. And guess what? If that was not the case, وَلَوْلَا ذَلِكَ لَنَزَلَ بِكُمُ وَاصْطَلَمَكُمُ الْأَعْدَاءُ. If that was not the case, if it was not my prayers and just being on top of the ummah, you have been destroyed. You may say, oh, we go through a lot of hardships. Yes, we go. I mean, that's part of life. But if you look at the history and things that we have done, honestly, there shouldn't be any name of Shia, any name of Ahlul Bayt after 1100 of the mess that we Shia created. in terms, and also, let's be honest, the level of animosity against us, right? Everywhere. Like everywhere that the Shia exists, you see how enemies, they try their best to destroy in Iraq, in Afghanistan, in Iran, throughout the history. That was the main goal. They use all their power to destroy. And by numbers, it should have been the case that we should have been demolished and no name of us. Imam says, وَلَوْلَا ذَلِكَ, if that was not the way that we manage it, the way that we know how to manage it, you have been destroyed. And again, yes, you go through a hardship, but that's part of life, and we can talk about it later. Any comment, any questions so far? Am I going too fast, too slow? Comment on the pace. Good? Okay. So let's see online. I think it's we are good. Okay. We have Aini fil chat. All right. So Bahbah. This is a Bahbah topic, brother, right? Very Bahbah. The blessings and benefits of his being. We talked about a couple of them. This is another angle, that how those benefits reach us during the time of Ghaybah and also after Zuhoor, inshallah. So we will talk about the concept of light, Nur, but here I wanted to use this hadith, which interestingly enough, I found out something interesting. Abu Khalid Kabuli is the one who has narrated a couple of ahadith about the light, which was really interesting for me personally. Yes, that other narrators, they received that from him. But again, this is for between parentheses that people that
Did you have a book then?
Of course, Abu Khalid was one of the authors, if I'm not mistaken, and then his students. Again, it was, you know, some people are expert or they have interest in one topic, for example. So that was interesting for me when I didn't look at it from that angle, but when I was reading these ahadith this time, I realized, wow, Abu Khalid, his name is shining there. Anyway, Imam Sajjad alayhi salam, Abu Khalid Kabuli was from Kabul, and was one of the great companions of Imam Sajjad. Great, because you can see from the discussions, that was not low-level discussion. Imam says, Ya Abu Khalid, the light of Imam in the hearts of believers is more shiny than the sun in the middle of the day. وَهُمُ الَّذِينَ يُنَوِّرُونَ قُلُوبَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. They, the Imams, are the ones who enlighten the heart of believers. So don't think, we'll talk about it in a few minutes, don't think that the Imam is in occultation and hidden, and mu'mineen, believers, they don't get benefit from him. He is the one that enlightens the hearts of believers. He is the one who is the leader of the religion. He is in charge, and he is the one who raised the flag of religion. We may not realize how he does that, but Imam says, to whom Abu Khalid, the time of Imam Sajjad, for those, the light of Imam is more shiny than the sun in the middle of the day. So we get back to this. You all have heard the beautiful analogy of sun behind the cloud, which first was mentioned by Prophet himself, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to Jabir when he was talking about the Imams. And then later with other Imams and Imam Mahdi himself, he mentioned and he used that analogy, being the light, and the hayat, the life, is dependent on sun, even though you don't see him. So with that, we have another hadith which I want to read. This is a prophecy and glad tiding for us. So any volunteer to read for everyone, loud and clear.
I can read.
Your English is way better than me all. Okay. I'll go ahead.
Alrighty. Allah. Ammar Sabati.
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 Not your fault. There is
Who has said
Sabati.
the following?
Oh, Sabah. Oh.
Sabat, yes. But Ammar Sabati.
Who has said the following? Once I asked Abu Abdullah, is the worship in secrecy with an imam from you during the government of falsehood more virtuous? Or is the worship during the reign and government of the truth with an imam from you in public sight more virtuous? The imam said, O Ammar, charity in secrecy, I swear by Allah, is more virtuous than the charity given public. The same is true when you worship in secrecy with your imam out of public sight during the government of falsehood. Worship with fear from your enemies during the government of falsehood in peacetime is more virtuous than worshiping Allah. Majestic is his mention during the reign of the truth distinctly in the government of truth. Worship with fear during the government of falsehood is not like the worship in peace under the government of the truth.
Basically, government of falsehood, the Taghut, I think I have the Arabic on my notes. Just to make sure that, yeah. Dawlat al-Batil. Dawlat al-Batil. So basically, nowadays, everywhere. So Dawlat al-Haq is the government that is under the leadership and administration of the infallible, which we are not benefiting from until Imam Mahdi alayhi salam come. But the question, I think it was clear. It doesn't need more explanation, right? Self-explanatory. So Imam says, it's a glad tidings for us now. The prayer, the deeds, the good deeds that we do, other things that we do is rewarded higher. Again, this is back to the main point of Sahib Mikyal. He says, he uses that as a point here to pray for the Imam alayhi salam, because of him we are getting more blessings. So
I understood it differently.
okay,
Because like reading that, wouldn't you want to say, if I'm transactional or mathematical, I want to keep it like this so I can get more reward?
yes, maybe, but if you see the next slide, maybe that will be corrected, because there are a lot down there as well in the time of Zuhoor. That there are countless blessings that itself is a topic for discussion. What happens? يوم تبدل الأرض غير الأرض. Basically, the earth will be something but earth. Even though that ayah, the apparent meaning is about Qiyamah, or the other ayah, which is really beautiful, you may have heard about the Day of Judgment. وَأَشْرَقَتِ الْأَرْضُ بِنُورِ رَبِّهَا. Have you heard this ayah? The day that the earth will be enlightened by the light of its Lord, its Rabb. What does that mean? One of the meanings, as I said before, the ayat of Quran are not just one with one meaning. Imam said this is the time of coming of Mahdi alayhi salam. On that day, the earth will be enlightened by the light of the earth's Lord, which is Imam. Rabbul Arz, Imamul Arz. Rab means Murabbi, coach, trainer, right? How do you walk with your trainee, right? So that's the Murabbi. Anyway, there is another beautiful ayah. I love these ayat that have different layers of meanings, and it's surprising. وَيَوْمَئِذٍ يَفْرَحُ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ بِنَصْرِ اللَّهِ. Sorry, this ayah is in what context? Remember? Surah Al-Rum. Right? The apparent meaning is about the Rum and the Romans and those things that happened, and they were defeated. And ayah says, in that day, believers will be happy. Imam said that's true. There's another layer in that ayah that when Imam Mahdi alayhi salam comes, all the believers will be happy, even those that have passed away. في قبورهم بقيام الحجة. Even they are in their graves, the believers will receive that glad tidings وَيَوْمَئِذٍ يَفْرَحُ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. That day, believers will be happy and rejoice because Allah's promise has come true, and then they see the support of Allah that finally that day come. So again, because of that, he says we should, that's another characteristics and qualities that we should remember and do the prayer for Imam alayhi salam. So let's move on. I hope you're not tired yet. If anyone is tired, I think we still have coffee on the back. Yes, you have a question or you're tired? Huh? Okay. So thanks for sharing that. I try to be quicker and I don't know, more fun. So there's another concept. I'll make it brief about the acceptance of deeds. Because of him, we have there is a chapter in our books of hadith that our deeds are accepted because of him, which is again related to the first discussion that we had about the objective of khalqa. And again, this is a reminder that we read in Dua Nudba that, oh Allah, accept our prayers because of him and forgive us because of him and all. So thank you. How did you know that I need this? Again, let's move on. I just wanted to mention some of the topics and be quick. One of the important, this is really important, points in this topic is the fact that Imam Mahdi alayhi salam is the qurba of Prophet, is the among the akin of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, right? And that's what he asked us as a reward, as a compensation of his prophethood. The only prophet that had asked something is our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which is interesting. All the prophets, as you see, you read Quran, they say we don't need anything from you. We did it for the sake of Allah. Just don't give me money or this and that. The only one who asked for something is our Prophet, that he asked for the reward of my prophethood, that I went through all these hardships, I brought the message of Allah. And what is the reward that I'm asking you? The love of my relatives. Mawaddah is not only love, it's just expressing that love, showing that in action. That's the mawaddah. Mahabbah is love in heart, but mawaddah is when it basically be realized, be manifested. So there is a beautiful hadith in Kitab al-Khisal that 4 groups will receive the intercession of Prophet on the Day of Judgment. So again, remember what is the context that Sahih Mikyal has? The helper of the household of Prophet, the fulfiller of their needs when they are in need, someone who loves them by heart and tongue, a person who has removed the harm from them with their own hands. So the simple question is, nowadays in our era, who is the greatest exemplar of household of Prophet? All the Sayyids are connected to the Prophet, true, but who is the closest? The 9th lineage of Imam Hussein, that is, I mean, it's not even comparable to Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So it is our duty to respond to the verse of Quran that ma as'alukum, that's what Prophet asked us for the compensation. And we have this opportunity to do these 4. And again, main and foremost, the Imam of our time is the main exemplar of the household of Prophet. So looking for the intercession, shafa'ah of Prophet, being among these 4 is basically guaranteed and what we were told to. Any comment, any question? What time is it? Okay. I think we are, I know I'm going a little fast, but I have this struggle all the time. So now we go to the topic of light. This ayah is amazing. This is a very, very beautiful ayah. There is a little cheat line on the bottom, but I put it in Arabic. So anyway, Surah Al-Hadid, the ayah says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, ittaqullah wa aminu bi rasulih. If you do that, what happens? يؤتكم كفلين من رحمته ويجعل لكم نورا تمشون به ويغفر لكم والله غفور رحيم. If from all of our discussions in past 7 weeks and today and future, we get this ayah with this meaning that the ayah has, it's more than enough for all of us. It's everything. It's just end of a story. Very simple, but very broad and thorough. O believers, be wary of Allah, ittaqullah, and have faith in his apostle, in prophet. If you do that, he will grant you a double share of his mercy. He will be among this special group, special league that Allah will have special attention. The Rahim of Allah, Rahimiyah of Allah is for those people. Not Rahman is for everyone. Shem also is receiving mercy and blessing from Allah. But Rahim is bil mu'minina ra'ufun Rahim. How do you walk? If you are in absolute darkness, have you been in those situations like in the middle of woods, or what I mean, it's not walking, but being in the sea and ocean like 2 a.m. in a night that there is no moon, and then be crazy enough to not go to the water and go straight, and then I was looking at the shore and I was going backward, going, I mean, a lot. And then once I turned, it was like absolute darkness in the middle of the sea at night. It was scary, really scary. You can't see, you can't touch anything, and it's in the middle. You may ask, why did you do that? We can talk about it after we are off recording. So how do you walk? Quran basically is giving us that hint. Can you walk? Can you move if there is no light? That's true in our basically real life, but also is true for in the context of guidance, our spiritual life. Now Quran says, if you do these that I'm telling you, aminu billah, have faith in Allah, be pious. Be pious means be among those that they care about Allah in a very simple way. Then Allah will support you double, basically, share of his mercy. And يَجْعَلْ لَكُمْ نُورًا تَمْشُونَ بِهِ. He will give you a light that you can walk with. Basically, you can see where you are going. In a hadith, Imam Salawatullah alayhi says, يَأْنِي إِمَامًا تَأْتَمُّونَ بِهِ. That light means the Imam that you pick as a leader and you follow. That's like a light. Enlightens everything for you. And he's doing it now, as we saw in the hadith that Abu Khalid Kabuli narrated from Imam. And there are other hadiths from the same person, as I mentioned. I didn't bring, I think this is our last slide for today. Imam in another hadith, is it? Okay. I think I typed more, but that's fine. There's an ayah in Quran, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, sorry, فَآمِنُوا بِاللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ وَالنُّورِ الَّذِي أَنزَلْنَا. A lot of time we understand that as Quran. Believe in Allah and his prophet and the light that we have revealed, we have descended. Imam says to Abu Khalid, this is Imam Baqir alayhi salam, to Abu Khalid that, oh Abu Khalid, by Allah, the meaning of light in this ayah is the light of the Imams of Ahlul Bayt. They are the ones that Allah says, Aminu. And again, think about, it's not random that Allah picked this word, Nur. Nur means light. Light means everything, means energy, means it will guide us everywhere. It will be the, again, guide wherever you want to walk, whatever you want to do. Without light, again, the concept of light is very beautiful. If you search it in Quran, those that they don't have light, Allah will not give them light because they didn't follow what they had to do, and things like that. So what, and this ayah, وَيَجْعَلْ لَكُمْ نُورًا تَمْشُونَ بِهِ. And you remember we talked about it, about Imam Mahdi alayhi salam, when we were talking about the dua after Salat al-Dhuhr that Imam Sadiq was reciting, أَيْ سَامِعَ كُلِّ صَوْتٍ, if anyone remembers. When the companion asked Imam, who are you praying for? Imam said, for Nur al Muhammad. I'm praying for the light of Ahlul Bayt. So among them, Imam Mahdi alayhi salam has special position. So again, there are a lot more to go over, but I will skip those, and I think I'm gonna stop here because today we had, I believe, a lot of content. I don't want to overwhelm friends, even though we still have five minutes, which is fine. We can have for discussion. So with that, I think there are some other things next week we can cover, and hopefully we can finish chapter 4. I may do that. I don't know. You give me feedback. How do you feel? If it is too much, if you think we should skip and move on to other chapters, we can do that. But again, as I said, to summarize and recap, Sahib Mikyal Radwanullahi alayhi lists 120 plus merits and qualities of Imam Mahdi alayhi salam, which by those it is incumbent on us to pray for him. So we are reviewing those, and by doing that we are learning a lot, and we are having more ma'rifah about Imam alayhi salam. So whenever we are in darkness, actionable takeaway. Whenever we are in darkness, any types of darkness of ignorance, darkness of I don't know what to do, I'm stuck, I have I don't know, suicidal thoughts, my friends are crazy, or whatever, any type of darkness, right? Where is the light? Allah gives us the prescription. Ittaqullah, aminu bi rasulih, then Allah give you the light that you can walk with. You can see where you are going. Not like me in the middle of the ocean at night, like blind. Okay? So, any comment, any question, anything? That silence is scary. It is, right? You don't know what's going on in their hearts. Sometimes it's good. That's what I'm saying. It's scary. I'm not being, anyway. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to, again, enlighten our lives with his light. In the ziyarah of Friday, what do we say to Imam Mahdi? Assalamu alayka ya nur Allah alladhi yahtadi bihi al-muhtadun. Oh, peace upon you, the light of God, that the guided ones are guided by you. You are the light. When we came here, it was dark here. So we ask Allah to enlighten our lives with his light and fill our daily lives with more remembrance of Imam Mahdi alayhi salam. So inshallah we get more benefit and get closer to him. Salawatullah alayhi. With that, if there is no other comment or anything, we can adjourn by reciting the dua. Again, I want to do the dua, Allahumma aslih, which was taught by Imam Rida alayhi salam. 4, anyone remembers? No. 4, what was the the venue or the time or
Friday.
someone in the chat? Oh, no, that was a question. I think chapter 4 is long enough and large enough, so it will take some time. If you still, I don't know, have you finished chapter 4? That would be amazing. If not, I think continue chapter 4 or part 4 of the book of Mikyal. Question?
I think,
Sorry?
I think continue chapter.
Yes, continue chapter 4 or part 4. So in the qunut of Dhuhr prayer of Fridays specifically. Yes. Have you memorized it? I don't have the gift card. Okay. Really? No, okay. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. اللهم أصلح عبدك وخليفتك بما أصلحت به أنبياءك ورسلك وحفه بملائكتك وأيده بروح القدس من عندك واسلكه من بين يديه ومن خلفه رصدا يحفظونه من كل سوء وأبدله من بعد خوفه أمنا يعبدك لا يشرك بك شيئا ولا تجعل لأحد من خلقك على وليك سلطانا وأذن له في جهاد عدوك وعدوه واجعلني من أنصاره إنك على كل شيء قدير برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد